Okay, all right. Good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope you're feeling good this morning. My name's Haziq Ali. I'm a revenue acceleration expert and somebody who's dedicated to helping you go further, faster, with less effort. I love entrepreneurs. I think they're the best people on the planet. And my simple goal is to help all the entrepreneurs that I can reach, all the entrepreneurs under the sound of my voice, get a little bit better at manifesting their purpose. I believe that we're the cream of planet Earth. I think if you're an entrepreneur, you're the reason we have civilization. You gave us the automobile, the airplane, the internet. You deserve to live in luxury. You are the one we come to when we need to solve problems. So I just want to do what I can to keep your flame burning a little bit longer and brighter. I don't know if you've already joined our newsletter, but it comes on every single Friday, 3:30 p.m. If you've already been checking out the newsletter, let me get some fire emojis in the comments if you already check out our newsletter. It's incredible, and it is designed to help entrepreneurs go further, faster, with less effort. It has sections on mindset, sections on skill set, sections on heart set. I think you're really going to get a kick out of it. Right now it's check-in time. Make sure you let them know what city you are calling in from and what kind of business you have. This is free promotion for you. You know, if you know another entrepreneur, share it with them right now. Like, let's wake them up right, baby. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you haven't turned on your notifications yet, this is a good time to do that. I'm about to call in on the live line because also we do affirmations every morning. Some of you know, some of you don't. If you know, you know.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, this is Les Brown, and you're in the right place at the right time because we're going to bring the millionaire out of you. Just hold on.
Let's get it. All right.
Thank you. Please announce yourself. All participants are muted.
We have so much to cover this
Entry
morning.
and exit tones are off.
I want to make sure that as we're going through these, you kind of make a commitment to yourself that you are going to evaluate yourself on each of these we give you. I challenge you to consider giving yourself a 1 if you're at a poor level, and share this with entrepreneurs, share this with teammates, share this with employees, share this with your staff, because right here you have the chance to make them more aware. A lot of times we don't know what we don't know. So how can we improve on it, right? This is a beautiful thing because right now you're about to get more aware. Some of this stuff is going to be a reminder. Some of it may be new information, but my challenge to you this morning is I want you to evaluate yourself. This is not the place to brag. This is not the place to kind of flex. This is the place to be honest with yourself, to get real with yourself, with the most important person on the planet, you, because obviously awareness is the first step to change. All right. So what you're going to do is with each one of these I give you, you're going to put a number that represents where you are in this particular category. Put a 1 if you're poor, aka passing over opportunities repeatedly. You're going to put a 2 if you're average. You're going to put a 3 if you're good. You're going to put a 4 if you're very good. And then you're going to put a 5 if you're the greatest. If you're between good and poor, here's the second part of your commitment. If you're between good and poor, make an action plan to get better, right? And then the third is we're going to execute. We're going to implement. If I can get your commitment on that, let me say I commit. Let me see I commit in the comments. If I can get your commitment on this, let me see I commit. Let's go. Let's go. I commit. I commit. I commit. Hey, my man, Mr. Ruffin is in the house. Hey, Mrs. Goins is in the building. Let's get it. Let's get it. Mr. Harmon. Okay, Vasan, let's go. Let's see I commit. I commit. My man, Willpower in the house. We got Facebook checking in. We got LinkedIn checking in. We got YouTube checking in. Let's see it. I commit. I commit. So first, we're going to evaluate ourselves. Number 2 is we're going to look at the areas where we're between poor and good and make an action plan to get excellent. And then number 3 is we're going to do this. If you're down for this, let me see I commit, and then share this with an entrepreneur. Share this with a fellow business owner. They may not do exactly what you do, but you have the opportunity to create an accountability partner this morning. And that's one of the most vital things of your success, an accountability partner. Let me see I commit. I commit. Let's go. All right. Here's the first one, y'all. Here's the first one. Are you good at getting the prospect to lean in with interest? Lean in with interest. This is a sales skill. You know, the other day I was picking up some oil or something like that, or I had to get some part. And it struck me that the lady in there that was pregnant, that had been starting a conversation with me, could use a business, right? She could use some kind of extra form of income. So I got two choices. Do I go in there and I say, man, I bet you could use some extra income? Here's a way you can deal with all these people that come in the AutoZone place because they probably have bad credit, or they will what? Get a new car. Some of them are being smart with their money, but most of them probably have credit, right? So I can start with that, which isn't like horrible because it's still better than nothing. It's still better than nothing. Somebody say done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. But check it out. Or I could be like, hey, I don't know if you'd ever thought about creating an extra income so that you don't have to work as hard when you bring this new baby into the world. You know, I don't know how much you get to travel. Do you like to travel? Man, I don't know how much you get to travel, but if you'd ever thought about getting to travel more or having extra money so that you can buy the kind of car you want to buy. You know, I don't know what your dream car is, but maybe you're not driving it right now. Maybe you want to live in a better place. You know, eventually, I bet you're going to want to have better schools for your child, right? Now I'm saying nothing about, all I'm doing is painting pictures. I mean, wouldn't it be incredible for you to be able to just kind of get up when you want to get up, you know, take care of that beautiful baby, you know, but know that you have enough money coming in to kind of handle the bills, even if it's not money to go buy a mansion right now. I mean, wouldn't it be beautiful to have enough? Now, how good are you at getting them to lean in with interest, right? If you don't gain their interest, you're never going to get a sale. Am I making sense to somebody out there? You might not even get an appointment. Am I making sense? It is your creative preparation that's going to determine your outcome. How good are you at this? Give yourself a score. Give yourself a score. How good are you at getting them to lean in? Like getting them to say, well, what are you talking about? Yeah, stop. Yeah, what? Right? How good are you at that? Is that even on your priority list? Am I making sense? Now, I'm not going to be able to go into each of these this thoroughly, but did that make sense to somebody out there? Talking to them with word pictures, talking to them about their dreams versus your own goals, which is to sell something, right? Right? Or talking to them about, you know, what it is they'll be doing. They don't care about that. What they care about is what they want. Later on, they care about what they'll be doing. That's called a presentation. But you got to get the decision first. The details come later. How good are you at getting them to acknowledge their decision that they want to live a better life? All right. Everybody with me? If you're tracking, let me see it. Let me see some fire emojis if you're tracking. All right, here's the second one I got for you, because we got to run through 23 more in about 12 minutes. All right, so that means they got about 30 seconds each. Here's number 2, y'all. Become a resource to your customers. Become a resource to your customers. More industry information, right? Competitive information. Information that's valuable to them, that's showing them opportunities that are coming their way, right? This makes you a resource. How good are you at that? How good are you at showing up to that business owner, showing up to that prospect, and having something that is effective for their specific situation? That's number 2. I dare you give yourself a score on that. Number 3, be sincere. How sincere? The amount of influence we let you have over our life is absolutely correlating to how clearly we see you put your interest behind mine. Then I'm giving you influence over my life. Then I will allow you to influence me once I see you put my interest first. Right? Number 3 was be sincere. Everybody with me? Give yourself a score on that. Number 4, be on time for everything. Be on time for everything. Be on time for everything. How good are you at being on time for everything? Lateness says, I don't respect your time. There's no excuse for lateness. You've already broken rapport, right? Be on time for everything. Here's number 5. Look professional. Look professional. If you look sharp, then it's a positive reflection on you. It's a positive reflection on your company. It's a positive reflection on your product, right? Everybody with me? Number 6, establish rapport before you try to sell something. That's number 6. How good are you at establishing rapport before you try to sell something? Who knows what I teach? How much of the sale is rapport? How much of the sale is rapport? Who's with me? Who's millionaire minded out there? Who knows what I teach? These are the kind of laws that help me go from homeless to a multimillionaire. Once you learn the laws, you're naturally going to know what to do. Who knows how much of the sale is rapport? It's 80%, y'all. It's 80% of rapport. How much do you know the prospect in his company? How much do you understand, anything about them and why this company is succeeding is important to them? All you have to do to establish rapport, right, is say 2 things that are true in a row. That's why a lot of times with small talk, we're like, nice weather we're having. It establishes rapport, right? If you guys follow me, if you study with me, you know I teach you all these kinds of tricks and hacks. But judge yourself on that. Where are you with that? Where are you on with that one right there? Which one are we on now? What number are we on, y'all? Here's number 7. Everybody with me? Number 7, use humor. Use humor. Millionaires, humor creates rapport almost instantly. It's the best tool for relationship that I've ever discovered. I don't care if you're talking, like they were talking about how my TED Talk seemed like a stand-up comedy routine, but it's because I'm trying to build relationship with the audience, right? Have fun with what it is you do. If you can get them to laugh, then that means they approve of what you're doing. If you can make them laugh, you can make them buy, right? If you can make them laugh, you can make them buy. Everybody with me? Everybody with me? Here's number 8. Be a master of your product. Be a master of your product. Be a master of your product. Do you know how your product is going to be used specifically by this customer, right? Total product knowledge gives you the mental freedom to kind of bounce around and concentrate on all of the persuasion pieces and helping them get over their objections and all of that, right? You might not even use all the knowledge when you're dealing with this particular person, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Everybody with me? All right. Number 9, the power of the question can't be equal. Number 9, the power of the question. The power of the question. How good are you at creating questions that establish rapport? How good are you at creating questions that establish them as a interested buyer, where you make them admit they're interested? How good are you at that? How good are you at creating disparity between, and you hear that word disparity is the difference, despair, right? You hear despair in there. How good are you at creating that space between where they are and where they want to be? Huh? How good are you at these sorts of questions that eliminate the competition? How good are you at the sorts of questions that build credibility, right? How good are you at questions that help you get to know the customer, right? How good are you at questions that help you close the sale? You know, in the Kaizen Academy, we have a whole training called Questions Are the Answer. I'm about to do a whole course on selling with questions, just teaching you all kinds of different questions you can use to sell. Somebody say selling with questions in the comments for me. Selling with questions. I dare you come up with 25 of the most powerful questions that you can think of for what it is you do. You need some networking questions. You need some sales questions. You need some presentation questions. You need some intro questions, some outro questions. Questions are the transportation system for human consciousness. I dare you rate yourself. How good are you at questions? Here's number 10. Ask the right questions, right? It's the key to selling. Well, now you're creating a buying atmosphere, right? Not a selling atmosphere. Isn't it interesting that that's the key? All right, check it out. Number 11, how good are you at selling solutions and benefits instead of situations, which is like features? It's one thing to sell the situation like, oh, look, you know, when you want to, you can let the top down on this car. It's another thing to sell the benefit. Man, you're driving down the highway, everybody's looking at you. You feel the sun just whipping through your hair. You feel the breeze on your face, right? I mean, how good are you at selling the benefit? Right? The customer don't want to know how it works. He wants to know how it's going to help him feel. He wants to know how it's going to help him, and he wants to know how it's going to help him feel, right? How good are you at selling in terms of the customer, not in terms of you? Everybody with me? The next one is tell the truth. Tell the truth. How good are you at telling the truth? Never be at a loss to remember what you said because you had lied. Tell the truth. How good are you at that? Sometimes I think it's even smart. Again, if you train with me, you know this. I think it's kind of smart to come up with something bad about your product and kind of throw that in there somehow. Now, one thing about it, we're not one of those companies that's going to help your credit be right in 7 days. It took you 30 years to mess it up. You got to give us at least 30 years, right? 30 days. At least give us, 3 months. I'm gonna jump out there, since I know a lot of times, maybe the length of time it takes for them to get their business credit together may be a little bit of an impediment to a normal salesperson. I'm gonna go ahead and be a servant. I'm gonna be a servant. I'm gonna be a leader, and so I'm going to make sure that I address the objection before they even present it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the next one. Deliver on all promises. Deliver on all promises. How good are you at delivering on all promises? This would be number 12, right? Deliver on all promises. Best way to turn a sale into a relationship, y'all, is to deliver as promised. To under promise and over deliver. Once you fail to do what you said you were going to do, you're a disaster. It's a disaster, and you might never recover. Here's number 13. Don't down the competition. How good are you at creating that disparity we talked about earlier without talking down on somebody else? If you have nothing nice to say nothing. You have no idea who you playing with. You have no idea what you might say that offends somebody. You don't know who they know in that company. You don't know what they did. Set yourself apart from them with your production. Set yourself apart from them with your preparation, with your creativity. You don't have to compare yourself to somebody else or put them down. Everybody with me? Here's the next one. Use testimonials. How good are you at using testimonials? How many testimonials do you have created for the objections you hear over and over and over? You always hear somebody talking about they don't have the time. Well, do you have an example from somebody that you've helped, even though they didn't have a lot of time, where they talk specifically about that issue? You can go back and watch a training we've done on how to create the best testimonies, right? Share this with an entrepreneur if this is making sense. If this is making sense, share this with an entrepreneur. Share this. Sharing is caring. And now you got 2 different people helping you take notes, 2 different people holding you accountable. A big part of you being able to improve is the environment you put yourself in. Culture is one of the only scientifically proven ways to actually change a life. It's not going to happen from the training. It's going to happen from what you do after this. It's going to happen from the accountability. You with me? Even if you don't want to join our accountability community, get an accountability partner. That's important. Here's the next one. Use testimonies to overcome objections. I already kind of talked about that a little bit, but I want to make it clear so it's a separate one on your list of 24. Yeah, you can use testimonies, but also get letters from satisfied customers that overcome the standard objections you hear all the time, right? The next one, learn to recognize buying signals. How good are you at being able to notice when they tell you they're ready to go? Are you paying attention? Are you listening? Right? A lot of times them asking questions is proof that they're interested. You got what I'm saying? But if you miss it, then you're going to be missing it, right? Here's the next one. The biggest buying signal in the world is how much is it? Oh my goodness. At the point they ask you how much it is, first of all, don't tell the price until they ask. Make them ask the price, right? But then sometimes I'll tell the price in the beginning. because now I don't want them to be listening to my whole presentation, wondering how much it costs, and then they're letting everything else I say bounce off their head. So you can do it one way or the other. Just don't do it accidentally. Know what it is you're doing. Here's the next one. Objections often are buy signals. A lot of times, objections are buy signals. How good are you at noticing that? A lot of times when they start saying, yeah, but I bet you it doesn't do this, that's their way of telling you that they're into it. So you may respond with, if I could find a way to make sure that you've got that covered, are we ready to get started today? Well, now that you see that's a selling question, you see that? I just turned that objection into a sale. You get me? I just turned that objection into a close. A lot of times they are indicating they're into it, but you'll miss it if you are poor as a listener. If you are a poor listener, then you'll miss it. And as you know, we say poor stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. Here's the next one. Anticipate objections. Anticipate objections. Sometimes when I'm in my seminars, and you guys really need to get in the Kaizen Academy, I can't stress that enough. If you want to get better, then come get around people who are getting better. Come let me help you move further, faster, with less effort. But I'll stand in front of the room and I'll be like, name me every objection you can come up with. Because I bet you think there are thousands of objections. Do you know they're like less than a dozen? You know, if you're really, really, really granular, maybe there are 10 objections, right? So why don't you have them written out? Why haven't you rehearsed your answers to the ones you get all the time? You should be yawning at this point when they say them. You should be so ready. But a lot of times we miss it. And then the next skill after that, I guess this would be number 20, is get down to the real objection. Get down to the real objection. A lot of times customers ain't truthful. How do you know they're lying? Their lips are moving. A lot of times they ain't going to tell you the real objection at first. Well, how good are you at getting down to the real one? I'm just trying to get your mind open to some places where you might want to get better, some places where you might want to have better questions when you're around a mentor or when we're doing Free Coaching Friday. I want you to think about how good you are at, here's the next one, knowing the difference between a stall and an objection, right? When they say, I want to think it over, that ain't an objection, y'all. That's a stall. And so I give you a whole bunch of ways to get over the I want to think it over objection. Don't I? I mean, don't I? I made myself so easy to love, right? All right. Number 22. How good are you at incorporating the answers to their objections into your presentation, right? Instead of you waiting for them to say it, when you know you hear it all the time, how good are you at throwing that in the presentation, right there in the presentation? Are you good at that? Are you good at that? I dare you get better. Here's number 23. Here's number 23. Overcome objections. This one's kind of complex sometimes, right? Number 23 is how good are you at overcoming objections? It's not just an answer, right? It's an understanding of the situation where you're listening to the prospect and you're thinking in terms of solution, right? You're creating this atmosphere of confidence, this atmosphere of trust that's so strong, you can now influence a sale. You now have created so much trust they can get over their fear, right? Isn't that beautiful? I tell people all the time, man, sales brings out all the best qualities of a human being. Because if I asked you, what are some of the qualities that pop out of you if you're trying to save a friend from committing suicide, right? You'd be like, I'm earnest, I'm sincere, I'm listening to their objections, I'm making sure that I give them value. You know, value ain't just saying a word. Value is whether the person listening considers it valuable. You get that? Yeah. So if I had you list all, I'm passionate, I'm enthusiastic, you know, I'm telling them everything about themselves that makes them value. I mean, all the best qualities of you come out when you're in a sales situation. Is that amazing? But yet this world trains you to think of sales as a bad thing. They are trying to jack you up, man. They're trying to jack you up. Yes, invest in the stock market, but invest in yourself. Do you hear me? Because you are just a couple amount of repetitions away from mastery. It could be anything: juggling, flipping burgers, dipping fries in the grease. If you do it enough times, you're going to master it. And that putting on makeup while you're driving 60 miles an hour down the highway, right? Even before autonomous driving, right, ladies? Right? Enough repetitions and you're going to be able to master whatever it is. So this is number 24. I dare you go in there so prepared you have a comparison chart. A comparison chart of all the competitors, right? And what makes them strong in this area, what makes you better, right? I dare you have a comparison chart for everybody wants to shop around, right? And you lead into it like, hey, Mr. Johnson, after you shop around and you find we're the best, will you pick us? Here's it. Look, we even, and then we show the chart. We even took the trouble to kind of run down some of the other options you're probably thinking about, right? These guys are bigger, but they ain't better, whatever. Or we're the best, and that's why we're the biggest, whatever it is. So I hope this was helpful. It's affirmation time. Was this helpful, y'all? Was this helpful? Scale of 1 to 10, scale of 1 to 10. How helpful was this? 10 was, I'm going to use it. 10 was, I'm going to use it. Don't forget FAST if you want to learn this fast. FAST. F is join a Facebook group. Entrepreneurship. We're there for you. A is apply something that you learned. Get an accountability partner is another way to say A. Get an accountability partner and teach them something that you learn there. S is subscribe. Turn on your notifications right now. And then T is teach somebody something. I already said that. So A is accountability partner, and then T is teach. Whatever. All right, love y'all. It's affirmation time. Let's get it. Say it like you mean it. Take your cool off. This is how you transform your energy. You know what I mean? The wild part about affirmations is you don't even have to believe it to start making it come true. All you're doing is adjusting the natural thoughts. So that way your default thought starts to be one that's looking for $1 million opportunities. If you're like, I am now reveling in my $12 million a year income, well, now your mind is going to ignore the opportunities that don't lead to that. You get what I mean? Same way when you rent a car, you start seeing a car everywhere. The car was always there, but your reticular activation system, not to get too deep, it blocked it out because it wasn't relevant to you. So the reason we do these affirmations every morning, the reason we do visualization every morning, and the reason you should join us, the reason you should call that number right now is because once you begin to make that the path of least resistance, it starts to become a foregone conclusion. You see what I mean? There are certain habits that will make success inevitable, and then there's certain habits that will make, unfortunately, failure inevitable. I want to invite you to participate in one of the former. This guarantees you success on a certain level. All right, repeat after me. Say it like you mean it. I am